Hi, Anna, and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. So I was thinking just to start, maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Yes, of course. My name is Anna Hasselborg. I am 31 years old. Yeah, I am. And I am a professional curling player. And I have been there that for a couple of years, and that is something I take a lot of pride in saying because in the sport that I play, it's a big accomplishment just to get professional because not everyone can have this as their main work. So we're very proud of doing that in full time and. Yeah, I have a daughter whose name is Mira, or Mira in Swedish, and a husband whose name is Matthias.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's super cool. And congratulations, yeah, on becoming a mom very recently.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And if we just go back to kind of where it all started, when did you first start with curling and why did you start?
So I am one of those curling childs that people talk about. So I am actually my mom and my dad met through curling. So it's always been something that has been in the family, and I have been in the rink for as long as I can remember, always like showing up with my dad on his practices. And then the transition between where I started to curl and where I just tagged along, I don't even know when it was, but I usually say okay. I started curling when I was 7.
When you were 7, okay. And did you play any other sports at the same time when you were growing up, or was just curling?
No, I have played soccer actually all the way up to senior high, so I was like 17 or 18 when I quit. Mm-hmm. And we were in a pretty good team, or I was in a pretty good team, and I also did some track and fields, and I also been doing a lot of music. I was in a music class and stuff too. But curling has always been the thing that I have loved the most. I always kind of knew that it was curling that I wanted to do, even though I kept playing soccer because I really enjoyed that too. But curling was the main thing.
Okay, so you always kind of knew that at one point, if you had to choose, it would be curling.
Yes, for sure. I came to that point also actually with music when I was accepted for a good music school, and I turned that down because I really knew that curling was my number one, and it's always been, and it's still obviously are.
Yeah, of course. So when did you know then that you wanted to focus on curling, full time? Like that's what you wanted to do for a living pretty much?
It should be like an easy question to answer, but for me, I think it's like something I always have known. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to say when I really thought about it, because it's always more been this thing inside of me that it's always been like I knew I was going to be in the Olympics. Like it was not even a goal. I just kind of it was just how it was supposed to be. That's how I felt. And so I don't know, I think I always kind of just loved it so much. I just wanted to do so much of it. So it's always been it's always been very certain for me.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, but that's really cool. Yeah. The way you explain it as well, you kind of just always knew in a way. Maybe even if you didn't say it out loud, like this is exactly what I'm going to be, you just kind of knew.
Exactly. That's exactly how it was.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And I understand as well that you started competing international or in international championships in 2008. And then in 2010, you won the World Junior Championships. What role do you think, winning at that age and winning in the World Junior Championships played in your career, kind of as, the motivation to keep going so early in your career?
I really think winning the World Juniors had a huge impact of my career now too, because as a junior, my team and I was like, we were pretty promising from a very young age. And in curling, you compete against people that the junior is, you make a cut at the age of 21. So if you're promising at the age of 14, you're still going to play against 21 years olds. So I think that always made me feel that I was like, I lost a couple of finals in the Swedish championship going out from Sweden to go to the World Juniors. So when I finally got out and we won that World Juniors in 2010, that really was like a big check mark saying to me that like I can do this, like I am good enough, and my team, we can perform if we want to. And actually 2 players on that team is the same team that I had at winning the Olympics. So I think we had a lot of motivation and also a lot of confidence coming from that. And we won against a team in the final that probably should have beat us because they were better.
Okay.
But we played better than them in that final. And and also we actually had a disappointing first World Junior. So for me, it was such a big confident boost and such a big important thing to like get back on the horse from a devastating first World Juniors and then to end on top. So not only just come back to it, also like really dig deep and win the second one.
Yeah.
So that was very cool and very important for me.
Yeah, so kind of like a reassurance that you were capable of doing more, you were on the right track, so to say.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And like you said, you already played then with 2 of the girls that are in your team right now, because then later in 2015, you and 3 other Swedish curlers, Agnes, Sarah, and Sofia, you started Team Hasselborg together. And after that, or since then, you have represented Sweden really at the highest level internationally. So how and why did this team come together?
So me and Agnes have been best friends and in the same team since we were 11 years old.
Okay.
So everywhere I go, Agnes is with me, and everywhere she goes, we just follow each other. And we had a team before juniors, and then we took a break from them the year 2010 and played with Sarah and her sister. And then we went back to our old team. So, and we kind of, we really tried to make the most out of that team, and we were winning sometimes, and but we couldn't like take the next step. And Sarah and Sofia had another team they were also in the same situation. They were winning sometimes, but couldn't take the next step. And me and Sarah have always had like a really good respect for each other, and I have always hated to play against her because she's really, really good. And we have a lot of respect for each other. And I have always wanted to play with her later in my career. And Agnes went to... This is a long story, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Okay.
So Agnes went to the Olympics as an alternate in 2014.
Okay.
And... when she was there, she actually wrote a postcard from the Sochi Olympics and said, "Next time I'm going to be here with you, my sister." And then we really got like what do you call it? We really had to think about if we thought the team we had at that point could go to the Olympics in 4 years. And we decided to make 1 year and really try to take some more steps and see if that worked, but it didn't. And after that, we reached out to Sarah and Sofia, and they had felt the same, and the timing was perfect. And I think we kind of started a new team on a clean slate. So it was like 2 players, me and Agnes and Sofia, and 2 players from the other team, and the 4 of us just wanted the exact same thing, and coming from 2 teams that kind of maybe didn't want exactly the same thing. So when we went together, it was like magic. It was like a big honeymoon. We just loved playing with each other and loved like training and develop together. So it was really, really cool. And it was cool to say that Agnes' postcard also was like it became like she wrote in 2014.
Exactly. That's super cool. I didn't know about that, but that's that's a really cool thing. And I was gonna say as well, because as a team after this, you've been very, very successful. I'm gonna name a few things. So obviously, the number one, you're the 2018 Olympic champions. You're 2-time European champions, 2-time World Championship silver medalist, and 5-time Grand Slam champions. So I mean, what was it like for you the first time, at the Olympics, being able to get there and to compete with your team?
First of all, the Olympics is the most fun I ever had. Yeah. We had so much fun. It was not only when we were playing, it was like everything we did during the competition. I think that is one of the main reasons why we managed to win, because we could keep ourselves happy and relaxed, and really we were able to enjoy every moment. So being there was just it was also one of those things. It was like I don't even want to say a dream come true, because it was more like a feeling like this is where I should be, like as I told you in the beginning. So I think that also kind of made us really take care of the moment, if you can say it like that. Yeah. And we had also prepared a lot for all the emotions that could maybe come during the week, and I think we handled that so very well, and we really helped each other, and we communicated so well about those feelings, because it's obvious they are going to come at the Olympics. Feelings of nervousness and doubt and stuff like that, but that's just a big part of it, being there.
Of course. And you mentioned, of course, a lot of feelings being at the Olympics. Did you ever feel any pressure? I mean, you personally or as a team being there, representing Sweden, did you feel any pressure having to perform once you got there?
Yes, definitely. It was especially one time during the week where we started to win 5 straight wins, and then we played South Korea, and they decided to make some changes with the ice, because the ice started to they had to make some changes.
Okay.
And the new ice, you can say, I kind of didn't like it. I didn't get the right feeling for it. And we lost against South Korea, and the first that was okay. We had won 5 straight wins, and then we lost one. But then we played Japan the same day, and I had a shot to win, and still I didn't like the ice conditions that it has been changed to, and I actually missed that shot to win, and that was like one of my toughest loss of my career, and that was just like one game. And I've lost finals, but at the Olympics one game could feel like a final.
Okay.
And I started to doubt myself, and starting to get questions of like, why did I miss that shot and stuff like that. And we had a day off, and we needed one more win to make the playoffs, and we had the United States and China left in opposite order. China first, and the US after. And China was a team that we had struggled to play against too. We had struggled to play against all the Asian teams. So I was really, really nervous, and I doubted myself a little bit, and I spoke to my brother, and he said, like, imagine that you're Katniss Everdeen and you're in the Hunger Games, and you've been handling the conditions too well. So the playmakers are like throwing in stuff that that you are supposed to handle, and the person that could handle this the best is the person that's going to win the Olympics. So I thought about that, and obviously it worked. And also we had a day off, and we had a really, really nice day with the families, and we got lots of new energy from them. And my mom and dad was there, and my husband, or it was my boyfriend then, we married later, but and then but also the way the team supported each other in that situation when we all felt the pressure of winning. And I think really that was when I knew we were going to win the Olympics too, because we were so nervous. And in the morning we were going to play China. Like I woke up, and at the breakfast everyone was like on top. Everyone was so happy and making lots of funny jokes, and like really, really had such a good energy. And then we came out playing the best game of the competition so far, and then that was when I felt like, yeah, I think we're going to win it. This. So that was very, very cool.
Yeah,
but I definitely doubted myself, but we came out stronger, which is very nice thing to do, and that's why I love my team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say as well, of course, just first of all getting to compete at the Olympics, but then also winning the Olympics the first time you're there. I mean, that must be so special.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like a landslide of feelings. It's even hard to think back of it, like, did we win? Yeah, I think we did win. Like, it's and I'm so humble for the experience too, because I honestly can say I think there was 9 teams at the Olympics that could have won. 9 out of 10 could have medal, and I have so much respect in each and every one of the players and teams that were there. And it comes down to has the best day or the best week, and also how you as a team handle yourself and each other. And our team is a fantastic team in giving each other support, and I have the best teammates. Like, they make my life easy.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously that's how it's supposed to be, and that's probably, like you said, how you could feel that, you were gonna win because of all of that, and how you were as a team, how you supported each other. So and apart from the Olympics as well, like I just mentioned, you have a lot of other accomplishments. But looking back, at your career up until this point, do you have like one favorite memory? I don't know if it's maybe the Olympics or something else, maybe a few that are like your favorite memories looking back at your career.
It's such a hard question, because different memories have different meaning, but the junior worlds is a big thing. It definitely is. Okay. And of course, like winning the Olympics, it's obvious. You can't say anything else than that. But maybe the game against China in the round robin at the Olympics, where we made the semifinal, and playing with all those nerves and pressure, and we managed to play the best game that we have ever played up to that point. That is a huge thing. And but different games have like different meanings. Yeah. Also winning the first Europeans was very cool after losing 2 finals. That is also something I'm very proud of, how we managed to just play really, really well and win. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, I can imagine it's difficult having so many different, like you said, games and experiences, having to pick one or two.
Yes, yeah. It is. So that is like a luxury that I definitely have as an athlete, and very, very thankful for just be able to say that that we have so many. It's hard to choose from.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to a bit more today and today's situation. Obviously, 2020 has been kind of a different year for all of us with COVID-19. And I know it's been a bit of a roller coaster year for you as well. First of all, winning the first event of the season in January, then having the World Championships cancelled in March, and then also becoming a mom this summer. So it's been, a lot of different things happening. How would you, kind of describe this year? How has it been for you personally and for your team as well?
Yeah, I laugh because 2020 has been like the best year of my life, but obviously also one of the weirdest and year. And first of all, being like pregnant in a pandemic is hard, and then having a baby in a pandemic is also very hard because you don't know anything, and it's so hard to like you have enough of being a mom and try to like make good choices, and then you have a pandemic, so it's definitely a challenge. But for us as a team, I think we have doing a great job of being in the moment and really try to kind of support each other the way we usually do, and also through this. And we haven't lost motivation yet. And I say yet because I kind of I think that maybe it will come a time where we do, when one more event is cancelled and the rink is closed or something like that. But so far we're still managing to make the most out of this situation. And by that, I mean, we're trying to build some strength that we normally maybe can't do during the curling season as much as we would like to. So now we have more time in the gym, and I think in a long term, I think that can make us better. And we try to see like beyond this. We try to see the bigger goal, and that is coming back to the Olympics in 2022. But of course, some days are harder than others. And going, for example, being at the World Championships, being in super good shape as we were, and have to go back home, that was really, really mentally tough. And for me personally, that was tough too, because I was obviously pregnant at the time, and I had so many questions before the Worlds, like thinking like, will I be in a good shape? Will I be able to do this? And then at the pre-camp, I threw so many rocks, and I felt I was in a great shape. I was so eager to go out at the Worlds and just like really show that you can do that, being pregnant and still compete. And the girls were in great shape too at the pre-camp. I was like, wow, this is going to be good. And then we had to go home, so that was really, really sad. And then now last week we just got the news of more cancellations, so this week has been a little bit tougher, but we try to, as I said, stay a lot. We are thankful for having gyms open, and the rink is still open for us, for professional athletes, so we're really, really thankful for that. So try to remain positive for what we can. Yeah,
absolutely. And I was going to say as well, it's probably more like a week-to-week basis right now, right? I mean, because maybe 1 week it's cancelled and 1 week you don't really know what's going on. So it's probably more trying to be ready and, like you say, positive.
Yeah, exactly. And like as one of our like thing we say in team is being in the moment. So we try to remind ourselves and each other of that, being in every moment all the time, and with a good combination of balance between looking ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually watched another interview with you as well, where you talked about what you told me before now, that you really wanted to play at the World Championships in March while being pregnant, to kind of, show that that was not something that was going to stop you. And although you didn't get to do that, after coming back now, a few months after your pregnancy, you actually came and won the first competition again in September. So wouldn't you say that that's kind of, a bit of a revenge, at least, for not getting to play in March?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it definitely was my revenge, kind of.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun being on the ice again, and it's so cool, and I was so thankful for how my body handled coming back too. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's good. And also, I mean, being a mom now, would you say that it has in any way changed your approach kind of to curling and maybe life in general, or how do you look at it now?
I think it has changed the way I think about time. I think I am more. I'm super focused when I do, like when she is asleep and I get 1 or 2 hours of training. So it's almost like it's amped my focus up, and but also it has affected me in the way that, like, I am as an athlete. Sometimes you are like very. It sounds bad to say that you're egocentric, but you're still very focused on yourself all the time, because it's how you train and how you eat and stuff like that. But when becoming a mom, you are not the number one person anymore at all. There's someone else who is the number one, and number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's everything. Yeah. So I think that definitely has affected me as a person, and I think that will eventually make me also maybe I hope it makes me maybe a more grounded person too, thinking about my losses maybe. But I haven't competed that much since becoming a mom, so
time will tell.
I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, we will see.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know as well that in Sweden you have this new initiative, or since 2019 at least, where you and your team and also the men's national team are supported in terms of like payment and parental leave, like more security, together with the Curling Association. How important would you say that this initiative and this solution is in order for you to be able to, both compete and be a mom now with everything going on?
Oh, it's super important. It's what's given me like a comfort, and still I'm still to provide for my family. So and it makes this a professional sport, which it should be too. And it's still, we don't get anything for free still. We are still fully funded by our sponsors, but this like administrative solution that we and the Swedish Olympic Committee and the Swedish Curling Association has worked out is really such a big step towards the right direction. And maybe eventually we would get paid by the association maybe, but in the meantime we have so many great sponsors supporting what we do, and I think that has even made my willingness of coming back as soon as I can, and my energy has for sure been positive affected by that, because I feel that there are people that believes in me in the same way that I believe it's possible. And some days when you think that it isn't, you remember that there are even people, not only your teammates but also sponsors, that believe so much in you that they want to support your journey. And that is very, very cool, and it definitely motivates you to go even harder and more focused longer.
Yeah, of course. And I'm thinking that as well, it's something that is very big for Swedish curling in general. I mean, moving forward, for the future of Swedish curling, to get more players wanting to become professional and going, down the same road as you have. It's probably a big initiative.
I really think so. And from a gender equality perspective, I think it's what has to be done in order for women in sports to be able to both be mothers and to be athletes, and because that is your right as a human being, I think, and you should not be forced forced to choose.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually going to say that because, within the past few years, we've seen more women in sports fighting for equality, especially with, equal pay and other things as well. And I mean, what's your view on this within curling? Because we're speaking about Sweden now, particularly, and the solution that you have and the sponsors you have supporting you. But how would you say it is in general in curling with equality?
I'm so proud to say that I play a sport that is very, very gender equal. We have exactly the same prize money on the Grand Slam tour. We have exactly as much TV time. And we have actually the same viewers on TV on Canada when we play too. And actually this year, our finals had higher ratings than the men's finals. So I'm very proud to say that I play such a gender equal sport, and it makes you think that it should be possible in other sports too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really awesome. And like you said, if it's possible within curling, why wouldn't it be possible within other sports as well? And it's definitely, I mean, hopefully something that people can look at and see kind of like, the model that you should want to follow moving forward and making it more like that within other sports as well. So
yeah, I really hope so. And I think what curling has done really well is that like the Canadian curling stars that they actually are in Canada, because it's such a big sport in Canada. They are both female and both the women's and men's. So like they have the same fan base.
Yeah.
So you have fans following Jennifer Jones and Kevin Koe. It's not like if you like curling, you're only following like Kevin Koe. You have athletes from like both genders that you look up to.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure. And yeah, like you said, curling is, it differs a bit from other sports in that way, and also in the way that you have the opportunity to compete together, because I know that in 2019 you competed with Oscar Eriksson. And you won the World Championship in mixed doubles, which was Sweden's first win, which is awesome, of course, as well. Is that something as well that is important to you, or something, that you've wanted to do for a long time, competing together with a guy?
Yes, I love playing mixed doubles. It's so much fun, and me and Oscar has always had really, really good chemistry on the ice. We have won, before we went to this Worlds, I think we won 4 Swedish championships, but we have never had, it has never been a good timing playing outside Sweden. So this year, 2019, we said that we wanted to play the Worlds, and our teams said that it was okay. So that was also a memory that I cherish a lot, because it was so much fun doing it, and it's very cool to play like with someone else that you normally don't play with, and also mixed doubles is such a fun way of playing. But we are not going to try to go for the Olympics together, because in our team we think it's not possible to mix both mixed doubles and teams. So we have now, like, it was on my bucket list, winning that Worlds, and so I'm thankful we did it.
Yeah, and now the focus is with your team for the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Yeah, and I also watched this video. I think it was on your website with your team, where you talk about just how close you are, all the girls, and the fact that you're more like a family than a team, to be honest. And do you think that this cohesiveness, like you said before, you've been friends for a long time with Agnes especially, do you think that's something that's played a big role in the success that you've had as well?
I definitely think for us it has. I know that maybe not all teams need to be the way our team is, but I think it has really helped us being so respectful of each other, and the willingness of being open and like open and wanting to communicate. And we travel like a normal year, not a COVID year. I think we have like 160 travel days together.
Yeah.
So we spend more time with each other than we spend with our spouses. And if we are not able to communicate and respect each other the way we do, I don't think that I would enjoy being on the road as much. And if I wouldn't enjoy what I was doing, I don't think I would perform the way or like perform on top. So for us, it definitely has been a key of enjoying each other's company and respect each other as a family should do. And when we put the team together, we said we didn't have to love each other, and then very quickly we understood we were going to love each other as family.
Yeah. That happened.
Yeah, that happened. So now Mira has 3 aunts.
Yeah, exactly. But you wouldn't say then that that's something you need for every team? You think it's different kind of what team you're in, but it works for you guys?
I think so. I couldn't see another way with our team, but I know other teams have different approach to that. But I would say a majority of curling teams are very close together. It's like it's hard not to be, because we travel so much, and it's such a small group of, like, it's such a small team too.
Yeah.
Like, it's only 4 persons, and then maybe an alternate, maybe a coach with you, and we are like 7 or 6 persons. So it's such a small group.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to say as well, because in your team, you're the skip. So for people who are not maybe familiar with curling vocabulary, can't you just explain like kind of what responsibilities, goes along with that role as well?
So I am the skip, which also is the team captain. So I am the captain, and then I'm also the one that I'm standing in the house, and I kind of decide what everyone should do. So you can say what do you call it? Like, I have the last saying, my main job is to make sure we take the right decisions and play the curling that we have decided that we want to play.
Okay.
So I'm like in charge of the strategics.
Yeah.
And then I also throw the last 2 rocks.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And I mean, that position, being the leader and being kind of in charge of all that, is that a position that you like, a position that you always felt that you were suited for in the team?
I actually have always played last and skip, so okay. I think it's have just become that, and it is definitely the position where I feel safest. I really enjoy the strategic part of curling, and I think that was also what made me gravitate towards curling in the beginning too. I really liked being, like, from soccer example, then you have trainers, coaches on the side that decide like how your team should look like and what kind of positions and everything. But in curling, like, you decide that. You don't have a coach that decides what you should do, and I really like the strategic part of it, and I always like that. And so but I think it's very important to see your leader role, as like a part of the team. So it's not like I am more important or that I decide something over the head of my teammates. I just make sure that we perform the plan that we all together has made up.
Okay.
And I think that is what a good leader try to do too.
That makes sense. So follow through with the strategy, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Make sure we follow through on what we together came up with.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I mean, now competing together it's been 5 years, and like you said, becoming a family over the past few years, what would you say that you have, learned from being part of this team?
Oh, what a great question. Well, I have learned that I have definitely learned that being able to see different sides, like, and respect them, and make a team better.
Okay.
So, like, if you like really listen, not just listen, you really listen to what someone else is saying and really try to understand what they're coming from, usually is a very good way of making the best choice.
Okay.
And I also have learned that if you put up a goal and you're ready to work really, really hard for it, and you have people around you that also believes in the same goal and supports you, you're able to reach that goal. And that is also such a cool and humbling reassurance of doing sports. So, but it's a very hard question. But I definitely think about that different sides and how we have really brought the best out of each other in the team.
Yeah. Like you said, being able to listen to each other. And I guess that comes with, you know, saying that you're like a family. I mean, looking at any family, really, you have moments where everything is really good. And you also have moments where a lot of things are going wrong and a lot of things are bad. So I'm guessing that's an important part of it when you're maybe in those tough moments, or when we have disagreements or whatever it might be. I mean, how would you say that this has worked for you as a team, kind of finding that balance, you know, okay, we're family, we're teammates, you know, when things are maybe not going the way you want them to?
We have talked about it a lot, of how to handle those situations, and sometimes we still crash, of course, but we have almost like a set of rules of how to handle the situation before it gets out of hand, and so far it works well. But also we try to just like the openness that I've been mentioning so many times. I think that is super, super important, and the willingness of wanting to communicate, because it's very hard to communicate. You should not take that for granted. It's a choice, and it has to be an active choice of wanting to communicate. And I think we all have made that choice together, and so we really try to do that, and it works well for us.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. It's probably something that you have to find out as well as a team, what works best, and setting those rules and guidelines.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And but I think the key is an active choice of wanting to communicate and wanting to listen. That is so important in all relationships, I guess. But it almost is as it works easier in the team than it works with your boyfriend or husband.
Yeah, but it's a good point. Yeah, you have to be willing to communicate first in order to actually do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of, you know, like maybe a bit more difficult moments, looking back at your career, what would you say has been like your biggest challenge personally, and how did you overcome it?
There are, of course, like games that I've lost. That is probably one of the toughest moments in my career. Leading up to the Olympics, we had some really, really, really tough final losses. And that, of course, made us doubt the capacity of the team and winning the big ones. But I think the way that we kind of we didn't put our heads in the sand. Instead we just decided to like really, really go into that feeling and talk about and force ourselves to look at the games that we lost. Really made us win the Olympics, because that was in the same season. So, but for me, when I lose, I can I'm really not a good loser. I hate losing, and I get so I blame myself so much. So I think, but I think every win that we have every win makes it a little bit easier of overcoming some losses, because you gain so much experience. So you know that in at this level you are going to lose a lot of games because you play so many great teams. So yeah. I think I still just talk. I think the biggest difference from like 2015 and now is that I have the same demons when I lose, but I'm better to talk to them, and I am also kind of thankful for my demons, because my demons is also the ones that make me win, because they also push me very, very hard. So I kind of a couple of years ago I decided to become friends with my inner demons.
That's a good thing. Yeah. But I mean, at any of these points, when maybe you've had a loss that you felt, were really heavy and really difficult to handle, did you ever at one point feel like you wanted to give up curling and do something else? Has that ever like crossed your mind at all?
No, never. My losses has only affected me in a way that it's like more of a, like that I want to be better.
Yeah. Okay. That's of course now, but that's a really cool thing as well. Like you said, more motivating you, I guess. It's a good thing and a bad thing, those demons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also a bit curious, because we spoke a bit about pressure before, and kind of like the mental part, because obviously, like you said, curling is a very strategic game. So how important would you say that, the mental game and being mentally in it is when you play curling?
So important. You have so much time on the ice that you have so much time on thinking on stuff. So you have to be mentally prepared for all the feelings that come into your body. So the mental part is a huge part of being a good player, for sure. And be able to handle those emotions that comes during the game.
Yeah.
Really big part of it.
And is that something as well that, I mean, do you practice that? How do you prepare before a big game, like mentally, to be able to, cope with all of those emotions and all of that time that you have to think?
For us, we've decided to have we talk a lot about routines. Stick to your routines, and that comes down even to stuff that we say to each other on the ice. So we know if you get really, really like amped up, we still need to talk about certain things on the ice. So we have like reminders that Sofia says this and Agnes says this and I say this and stuff like that. So in that way we definitely prepare for big games in that way. But also we have worked with accepting feelings, and instead of trying to change those feelings, just focus on the behaviors, because you can't change the way you feel or think. You can only change your behaviors. So that's why we talk so much about routines. So pre-game routines and pre-shot routines and stuff like that. So that is how we work mentally on that.
Okay. And I mean, we spoke about pressure a bit before. You said for the Olympics, of course, there was a lot of emotions during that time. But you said before also, being the skip, you throw the last stone. So is that something that you've ever felt puts more pressure on you, in the end, towards the end of a game, that you're the skip and you're kind of the last one out, or?
Yeah, definitely. That is my job. It comes with a work description to have more pressure, but that is what I love, and that is why I love being the skip, and I love throwing the last rock. I love that pressured feelings. It's a drug. That is what I love. So that's why that is my job, and that's why I play the last position, I think.
Okay, yeah, you like it.
I love it.
Yeah, you love it. Okay, that was wrong. Not like, you love it. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, when you first started, playing curling, I understand that you come from a curling family. Your brother was playing. Your dad's been playing at a high level as well. What was kind of like, or what or who, maybe I should say, what's your biggest inspiration or kind of motivation to keep playing and become good?
Agnes is for sure a big inspiration, even though we have traveled this road together. But I think we have really inspired each other along the way, because we put so much pressure on each other. We're those kind of friends that really have really, really high demands on each other when it comes to training. So I have Agnes is definitely one of the persons, but then also I mentioned my brother earlier, that I talked to him during the Olympics. He's definitely one of those curling persons that in the beginning I wanted to become as good as because he was better than me and had more success earlier because he was older. And so those two people, I think. But obviously, like, my dad has been with me since forever too, so it's hard to choose.
Of course.
But,
of course. And I mean, what would you say that it is that still motivates you today? Because obviously these people still inspire you today, but is there like an ultimate goal? Are there like, all the competitions you want to win, or what is it ultimately that still, makes you want to keep going today? Because you've already achieved a lot of great things so far.
I think I am still very motivated, and I think what I really, really motivated for now is to see how good can we be, and for how long could we be that good, and but also I just love curling. I just think it's so much fun. It's like a privilege to be able to call this my job, and it's just like, it's such a luxury to be like, this is, I go and do what I love every day, and this is someone paid me to do it. So that is a dream come true for sure. And it motivates me just to see how good we can be, and it motivates me a lot to come back to the Olympics too.
Okay, so next year in Tokyo to begin with?
No, sorry, it's going...
not in Tokyo, sorry.
In China.
Yeah, exactly.
In 2022.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, apologies. There's so much talk about Tokyo all the time, so that's kind of what I have in my mind.
No worries. And you probably interviewed a couple of summer athletes too, so...
Exactly, and everyone is talking about how it's delayed. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that makes sense.
No worries.
And I mean, in general, playing sports your entire life, what impact would you say that sports, and especially then curling, has had on your life, and what has it taught you?
Wow. That's such a great question. The main thing it has taught me is, I think, and that is why I love sport, it teaches you so much about yourself. Mm-hmm. Because you put yourself in positions where you are not comfort, you don't feel secure, you don't, and you have to really work with yourself, and you experience feelings that you maybe wouldn't experience, like adrenaline and pain and happiness and over the moon, like joy. So I think definitely it has taught me a lot about myself, but also about other people, and also it's I'm very thankful for being able to say that I have so many friends across the globe, because there's so many nice people playing curling. So, but definitely it's definitely taught myself a lot about it. Definitely have taught me a lot of stuff about myself.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, now as well, being a professional athlete, but also being a mom now, how important do you think, it is that kids especially get the opportunity to play sports starting at a young age?
I think it's so important, mostly because it gives you like a confident and self-awareness, and it's like a safe environment to challenge yourself. And I think that is definitely the way sports should be when you're a kid. It should be a safe environment where you are welcomed, and and like and just being what do you call it, like motivated to challenge yourself.
Okay.
And in a good way. I think that is so important.
And of course, today with all that you achieved and also the platform that you have, do you see yourself as a role model that can inspire kids, young girls and boys to play sports?
Like I get very happy when someone say that I am that, but I almost feel I feel like embarrassed when I would say that about myself, because I don't want to brag, and because I think that is the nicest compliment you could say to someone, that they are a role model. So if someone out there thinks that I am a role model for someone, or if I have inspired anyone to do what they love, and yeah, that would be so amazing. So maybe I hope that I have done that to someone, and that would make my day, and I would be so happy. But yeah, so if someone said that to me, that is such a huge compliment, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's difficult looking at yourself, putting that label. But I'm sure already with all that you've done, that there are, girls and boys looking at the TV and being inspired by what you and your team has done. So definitely.
I hope so. I hope so I can inspire someone to think that it's possible to be a professional athlete even in a small sport, and as a woman.
Yeah. And are those kind of like the values or the things that you hope they would like take away from what you do, or in which ways, if you are being able to impact someone, what do you think, or what do you hope that you can inspire them with? Like, what are the things that you want them to take away from what you do?
Definitely those two. And also I think I would love to inspire or tell someone young that take care of your teammates. You are not better than the team, and because it's so cool to be a captain and in a team that really wants you to succeed, and you so I really and be in a team where everyone just want everyone to get better. So I would really, really want young boys and girls to see that and choose good teams and be a nice friend. It's so important to be a nice teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And especially I think today with everything going on and, in the world with COVID and everything else, it's especially important outside of sports as well to be nice. Definitely. And be a good friend.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously right now you're in the middle of your career, and we hope that you're going to keep playing for a very long time. But have you ever thought about kind of what you want to do after when you stop competing?
I did have a job as a project manager before I become a professional curler. I do have a master's in business economy, so I think that after my career I will see what I want to do, and I'm very happy that I have a degree, because I have something to fall back on the day I stop curling. So probably I would just continue to be like skipping, but maybe at the company or something, so I've become a boss or something. I don't know. But I really don't know, but I'm happy that I have the degree to fall back on.
Okay, yeah, so same there. Kind of time will tell, and see what happens whenever you
definitely
decide that it's time for that. Yeah. And just outside of curling, because obviously you spend a lot of time practicing and playing, but outside of curling, what else do you like to do on your free time?
As I mentioned earlier, I love music, so listen to music and watch Netflix. But now mostly I don't even know if I have any free time. Now it's just like training, curling, Mira time. That is all I do.
Yeah.
But that is a nice way of living too.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. And I have one final question for you. So this podcast is, about sharing professional athletes' unique stories and show that everyone really has a different journey and they go through different things on their way to success. So if you could just give one piece of advice to the people who are listening to this episode and who have big dreams but might not know exactly how to reach them, then what would that be?
I think the same as I said just earlier, that about choose the people that you would like to have around you and be kind to them and support them, because they will support you and you will bring out the best in each other. I think that is very important. And then also really try to enjoy what you're doing and try to be in the moment and really just have fun. That is also so important. And just try to push yourself, dare to push yourself, because if you have great people around you, it's okay to fail, because you will learn a lot about yourself and learn a lot of stuff by failing.
That's awesome. I really like that. To not be scared to fail.
Exactly. Not be scared to fail.
Yeah, I really like that. And if anyone wants to follow you or maybe get in contact with you after listening to this, what's the best place to do so? Is that Instagram or?
Yes, DM me on Instagram. Even though I'm slow, I usually see what you're writing.
Okay.
Sometimes, but yes.
Perfect.
That is definitely the best way.
Okay, then I'll put all the links in the description so people can follow you and get in contact with you if there's anything. But yeah, thank you so much, Anna. It's been
thank you so much.
No, it's been so great to have you on the podcast and really, interesting to hear about everything that you've been through. So yeah, I'm sure that everyone listening will have some things that they definitely take away from this episode. So thank you again, and we wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much. Thanks for a great podcast.
Thank you.